Hello and welcome to Too Fast, Too Forever. There's all kinds of family, we chose this one. This is episode 182, The Fast and the Furious, Lap 9. I'm Joey Lewandowski.
I'm Joe too, and this episode's brought to you by Jacob's Auto Sales, Inc. With 25 years of experience, they've helped their community take home the heavy-duty trucks that they need to get the big jobs done. Shout out to jacobsautosales.net.
Well, shout out to Jacob's Auto Sales. Welcome to Lap 9, the road to F9, unofficially. Joe, the idea today, the Team Jacob lap to cross-promote over to the high school slumber party Twilight Second Life that Joe is on.
Yes.
Also, we'll talk more about Jacob later, but the Team Jacob lap, which we are not officially calling it, and I'm going to stop calling it. I might never refer to it again as that again, but I got it out there twice.
Team Jacob.
That's the wrong team. That's firmly the wrong team. In both this movie and the Twilight movies.
Have you seen the Twilight movies?
I've seen enough of them to know, and I've also listened to every episode of High School Slumber Party, so
That's
I know.
True. Okay, fair.
I know. But Joe, extracurricular activities, what have you been up to? You went somewhere and did a thing.
I did like my first thing since quarantine. I went home to Pittsburgh this weekend and went to the Penguins game on Sunday, which was sadly an overtime loss. But
I know.
It was really cool. It was a really cool experience because they actually increased capacity from 25% to 50% between Sunday and Tuesday. It was the first and last playoff game held at 25% capacity in Pittsburgh. Like when we were sitting there, I looked around and I was with my dad, my sister, and Rachel. And when we were sitting there, I was like, we will never ever be in a playoff game again that has this low attendance, right?
Until the next pandemic.
Until the next pandemic, yes. Other fun story, while I was home, Rachel and I, we were going to go to the baseball game. We wanted to go to the Pirate game, but then I fucked it up and didn't buy tickets, thinking that ticket prices were going to go down like a normal Pirates baseball game, but because there's limited capacity,
right,
it's very hard for that to happen. I was watching tickets, and they finally went down to $25 a seat 15 minutes before the first pitch. And I was like, okay, I'll just wait till the first pitch, and then I'll buy the tickets when they get to, lower than that. They didn't. They just sold out. We didn't go to the Pirates game, but we were coming home. Everything in my neighborhood in Pittsburgh was, open. So they had, this bar with, a garage door open, and, we're both, fully vaxxed now. I'm like, oh, cool, let's sit outside, or in the garage door of this bar and watch some of the other game, the Capitals-Bruins game. A bunch of my friends from home just walk into the bar.
Oh.
Yeah, just out of nowhere. It's not a bar that we ever hung out at. It's not a neighborhood that we ever hung out in. And they just, walked into the bar, and I was like, what the fuck happened? And so we just stayed there at the bar with them all night and had a good time and caught up.
And Donza Kuduro played?
And Donza Kuduro played, yes it did. It was just a wonderful time. It was cool. It felt even more fun that, I didn't plan to see anyone, and I just ran into a bunch of people I knew. So that was a blast. And it was, the first weekend of, stuff opening up. It was just all around a great weekend. And, we drove home, and we've just been chilling since, and the Penguins won last night, Tuesday night, so it's a new day and a new series, and I'm just happy to be watching a ton of hockey. That's what I'm going to do tonight, too. So.
Well, you know that the Penguins, if they want to keep up this season-long appreciation of Too Fast, Too Forever, they need to win in 5, because Game 6 is a Wednesday, and so we can record the night before, if need be, but We've joked on here before, I think, that
yes,
all year long, literally this entire season, there have only been 2 games we had to reschedule, and reschedule is a very loose term, but move the recording to a night before. Last year, or maybe not last year, the last full season or whatever, it was seemingly every other week. It was that's on a Wednesday, and we had to figure things out. But this year, there was literally 2 out of how many games they played? They didn't play the full 82, did they? It's 60?
56, I think, 58.
So 2 out of 56 or 58
were on a Wednesday.
yeah, that's it. Literally, that's it. And also, all those episodes that we did on a Friday, none of those overlapped either.
And I was doing, a couple episodes with Brian that were on Saturdays, and there somehow wasn't ones on those Saturdays either. And, we didn't, really move around the schedule too much for Brian. They blessed us all season.
Yeah, so when I looked at the schedule, I saw that Game 6 was on Wednesday, so they have to win 3, 4, and 5. Otherwise, we have to slightly adjust things. But good luck to the Pens.
I think they should. That would be a really good gift from them. I would be really excited if they just gentlemen sweep That would be really nice. I'm excited.
Since we last recorded with Heather, we had a bonus episode on our Patreon. We did Ricky O, the story of Ricky, which was great and a fun episode, and that's out now. On that episode, we found a movie called Burial Ground, because we played the letterbox game for Ricky O, and this guy liked Ricky O and RoboCop and Shogun Assassin, and then this other movie, Burial Ground, and I was like, I need to see this movie. If these are the other movies this guy loves, and they're all of a certain kind, I'm going to love Burial Ground. And I watched Burial Ground, and I really liked it, but it's the kind of movie, and I told you this, I don't think you need to see it, because I think there's crazy shit in there, but I think for sort of more of a horror novice, like someone who's not, like, really deep into it, I don't know that you're going to get as much out of it, because it's not the best movie, it's just like, oh god, there's stuff in here that I've never seen before, but it's not on a level of Ricky O, where, whether that's your first exploitation movie or your 100th, it's like, this is still awesome. Like, Burial Ground is great, I don't think it's need for you, but if you want to go out there, if you want to watch it, you want to watch a cool Italian zombie movie, it's on Popcorn Flicks, some streaming service with ads, which is where I watched it, so, or you can rent it for $3 or $4, so that's that.
And we didn't talk about it enough, but, like, if you, for some reason, didn't listen to the Ricky O episode, go fucking watch it.
Well, if you're not a Patreon subscriber, if you're not a patron, do that first, but then number two, watch Ricky O, the story of Ricky, because it's amazing.
It's probably one of the coolest movies I've seen in years. Like, it's fucking incredible. It's so much fun.
Then on Sunday, I watched your film club pick from the film club that we run online, Foxy Brown.
Oh,
which I enjoyed. No, I'd never seen it before. It gets real dark. Like, she gets like life throws her like lots of shit.
Yeah.
Poor Foxy, but Foxy in the end, spoiler, triumphs, because of course she's going to. Because if she didn't, be like, what the fuck? Like, what? No, you can't.
Yeah. It'd be even worse, yeah.
Then I watched the next Bond movie, The Man with the Golden Gun, which I enjoyed. Cool. Still like it more than the Connery movies. It's not great. It's not, but I still like the Roger Moore ones better than the Connery ones. And then last night I watched Mccabe and Mrs Miller, which is an Altman movie. It's kind of like Deadwood, sort of like that kind of era, like building a new town, gambling and prostitution and stuff like that. And it was good, but I like the other movies kind of better. Like, I knew I had been sort of not putting this movie off, but I was like, I don't know that I'm in the mood for like an 1800s period piece. Like, everything is depressing and smelly and whatever. Like one of those kind of movies. And like, it is. It's good. I like this other stuff better. So the next one of his I'm going to watch is Nashville, I think, which is a very long but very well-regarded one. So I have no idea what it was about, really, but I think that'll be this weekend, so I will report back next episode. But the other important thing is that over the weekend, I actually saw people, which is also, I didn't go to a sports game, but my friend Bob, who will be on this podcast very soon, I think next week, actually, talking about our Pit Stop movie.
Cool.
He and I recorded in person our first episode of How to Win the Lottery, which comes out on Thursday, June 3rd, our podcast book club. If you want to learn more, cageclub.me/lottery. It was great. And we had hung out with our friend Tom, who was also in the league. He actually won our fantasy baseball league last year. And we drove to a restaurant sort of near. So taking a step back, do you know the type of sandwich called a francesinha? Francesinha?
No idea what that is. What is it?
So it's a Portuguese sandwich that I found out because it was one of the Bing things of the day. Like, because, every day I do Bing. Big advocate of Bing. And one of the things was like, look at this amazing sandwich. And I'm like, oh, this looks and sounds amazing. It's described as basically just like a bunch of meat on a sandwich with a fried egg. And it's like, and like a delicious sauce. And I was like, okay, you had me at a bunch of meat. Like, that sounds good already.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, I'm going to send you some pictures if I can.
Please. Food porn is my favorite kind of porn. Go ahead.
And so we go there because I Google Francesinha near me, and there's this place in Summit, New Jersey. I don't remember what it's called, but it has Francesinha. I'm like, okay, cool. And like, this is like a $20 sandwich. And we talked about on here before about the pastrami sandwiches, like the deli sandwiches in New York being like $20 or $25, and like that's like a whole thing. Like, this is not like a stupid amount of food, but we go there and I order this thing, and it's not a sandwich as much as just like steak in a bowl of amazing au jus with like sausage on top and then cheese and bread kind of on top and a fried egg on top surrounded by French fries.
It's like kind of open face sandwichy.
Yeah. It's eat it with a knife and fork. You don't pick it up. And I was just like, this is not at all what I expected, but it was amazing.
It looks good. What was the meats on it?
It's a steak, which I was like, however you want to cook it, just cook it. Like, I'm like, she's like, how do you want that cooked? And I was like, this is not a question that I expected to have to answer. So I was like, whatever you or the chef recommends. So it looks like probably medium well or well done. I don't know. And then sausage, and I think there was one other something else, and I don't remember what it was, but it was great. It was delicious.
Is giving me super poutine vibes with the fries and the...
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, it's like a poutine. It's like a sandwich in a poutine kind of situation and a fried egg. Yeah, I could get down with this. Open face sandwich a little bit.
I want to go back to Canada for more poutine. I had poutine a couple years ago when I went up there, and man, that's good. So yeah, so we had those. I went back to Tom's house where we hadn't been yet because he bought his house with his fiance last year. He was supposed to host the draft this year, but a couch didn't get there in time. But he's going to host it next year, I believe.
Cool.
But we hung out there for the day, and then Bob and I came back here, recorded our podcast, and then went our separate ways. We're going to do episode 2 this Saturday, and then me and Mike, Mr. Mike Manzi, the Mike Star, are going to do an episode of Viva Pod Vegas tentatively on Sunday.
Damn.
So I might actually see 2 more people. I mean, one of the same person, but I haven't seen Mike since before. I was trying to think back. I'm like, when was the last time I saw Mike in person? It was probably last February because he didn't come to the High School Slumber Party Foodie Films live event, remember?
Oh, that's
and
right.
We teased him about that.
Yes, he missed out.
Literally everyone else was there.
Yep.
Mike doesn't listen to this. Hi, Mike. But I was like, he wasn't there, so it must have been like before, like in February, when I think he and Chris Podcast and me recorded about a Cage movie.
Oh, interesting.
I don't know, but yeah, I think Mike's coming over on Sunday to do a Viva Pod Vegas, and so yeah, 2 in-person pods. Can you believe it? It's crazy. Crazy.
I also forgot that as we were driving, we were listening to book on tape. We were listening to this book called The Whisper Man. Have you ever heard of it?
Nope. Sounds like a Steven Seagal movie.
Yes.
There's the Glimmer Man.
It's just like a novel that's a thriller. It was pretty good so far, so that's what we were up to.
Is it by Alex North? Is it that one?
Yes, by Alex North.
In this dark, suspenseful thriller, Alex North weaves a multi-generational tale of a father and son caught in the crosshairs of an investigation to catch a serial killer preying on a small town.
I mean, that's like pretty much a big spoiler of what I just got to in the book. Glad I didn't read that.
That's literally like the tagline. Like, that's just like the first thing you read on Goodreads.
I know. Well, like, maybe you should stop reading taglines and stop watching trailers too,
Wow. Sorry.
I don't think you're going to read it. It's not like anything monumentous, but also I'm glad that I didn't hear that before I got to the part that I got in the book, 'cause I'd be like, who the fuck is...
Wow. Okay. So spoilers for The Whisper Man, retroactive. Don't read what it's about.
I'm assuming the book gets way crazier than this, because we're only like halfway through, and like this was like the first big thing. I was like, oh shit. Like, I thought the book was almost over. Rachel's like, no, we're like not even halfway through this. And I was like, oh, okay, cool.
There is the top question on Goodreads, which is the social media for books. The top question is, does this contain supernatural elements? So I won't tell you the answer yes or no, but that is the top question asked on Goodreads. So get ready for or not.
Okay.
That's all I got. That's just what people are asking. People in the streets asking about the Whisper Man. Supernatural question mark? Maybe. We have a Patreon page, toofast2forever.com. Shout out to Cassie Wilson, Jake Freer, Ben Milliman, Nick Burris, Alex Ellen, and Justin Kleiman, Brian Rodriguez of High School Slumber Party, Haley Gerbies, Wes Hampton, Christian Larson, Jerry Robinson, Dan the Duke, Hayden Renato DiDonato, and Jessica Collins, a.k.a. Montez. So Montez wrote into How to Win the Lottery, and she started, like, I read like a sentence of her email.
Yes.
Because we want it to be interactive. We want people to, who read the books to write in, because it's not just us talking about the book. We want it to be like a book club and have people read along, whatever.
Yeah.
And she starts, and I like, after one sentence, I'm like, okay, hold on. I got to tell you the story about why she's called Montez. And I told this whole story. I led it with, like, you're not going to give a shit. Like, it doesn't make any sense. I don't remember exactly why we started calling her Montez. Like, I know Gabriella Montez. I think she wrote, like, a sassy email. But I told this whole story about, like, Montez. But, like, it's 3 removed or something. Right? Like, it's not Zack Attack. It's not even you and me. It's a different thing that she's still writing in, and she signs the email Montez. So, like, even when it's not you and me, she still calls herself. And, like, John Brooks calls her Montez over in Hard to Believe, too. So, like, it's fun. It's very funny to me that this name has stuck based on really nothing other than just, like, our desire for it to be a thing.
It's a great nickname, though, right? Like, it's stupid and removed enough.
It's a good name, and yeah, I wonder, Montez, if you're out there, if you're listening, I know she's catching up, and she wrote an email here, so we'll catch up. We'll get to that. Do people who don't have podcasts call you Montez? That's what I'm wondering.
You need to change your Twitter handle to just Montez, like, not like at Montez, but just like, the banner part. You can just, like, I'm Joe too. You can be Montez.
Yeah.
Like, so you can
like,
really push
like,
this.
I don't know.
If you want this to stick beyond us, you can really, strong arm some people into using it. But I really like it. I think it's fun.
If you support our Patreon, we now have 7 bonus episodes, including Ricky O, the story of Ricky. We got another bonus episode coming up each month this lap. We've got 4 scheduled, plus 1 more TBD. And they're going to be good movies. And we have a cool guest on at least 2 or 3. At least 3 of them have guests. Look at that. So you want to check it out. toofast2forever.com. Also, we have a store, toofast2forever.shop. It's on sale right now as this comes out for patrons. And it's going to be on sale, everything, I think, in a couple days for people listening to this on the main feed. So if you want our weird
There's two sales
merch,
like a week apart.
yeah, like they send the email and like there was like 3 or 4 days at the beginning of the month that are like a smaller sale, and then there's like 2 days and then 4 days at the end of the month that are bigger sales. I don't know. Remember I told you that I made that other shirt for the X-Files? Like there's an X-Files in joke, and I made this shirt that like only we have bought.
Yes, yes, yes.
So my friend who is in the X-Files thread, who's not Bob, it's my friend Real, he and his wife are having a baby like almost like as we speak right now. Like she's due any minute now. I looked, and sure enough, TeePublic offers a onesie of most of the stuff, and so I'm going to buy him a onesie of that
so
t-shirt.
cute.
So, you know,
Genius.
because he even took a picture of it. He's like, this is the only shirt I'm bringing to the hospital. It's just his X-Files shirt. So I'm going to buy one. I'm like, Bob, you want to? He's like, yeah, I'm down. Like, that's cool. That's a good idea. So
That's a really fun idea. Yeah, so then it could be like dad and baby get the same. Yeah, that's cute.
so if you want a cha-cha-cha onesie, too-fast-too-over.shop.
Yeah,
Give an
and a
email
baby
address.
will have food all over the place. Like that's part of the. It would be very appropriate for a baby to be wearing.
Is there merch we could make about baby Brian? I don't know.
Not yet, but I think that baby Brian and
Oh,
9.
I forgot that now that I forgot that our merch idea of her drawing everybody as penguins.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
I'm going to text her while we record.
Okay, go ahead.
But we also have an email address, family@cageclub.me. If you don't want to support us on Patreon, email in family@cageclub.me. We'd love to hear from you.
Always, yep.
Nick followed up with the pictures. Remember he emailed last week about...
and we didn't get the pictures. They didn't come through.
He followed up
Yes,
and said, make
I
sure these
remember.
work. If not, I can send through Messenger, and they worked. So thank you, Nick. These look like trading cards. They're called Top Trumps Play and Discover. Fast and Furious.
What the
Looks
fuck
almost like
is
MLB
this?
Showdown for like cards.
Yeah.
For cars, yeah.
What the fuck is this? We need to get some of these. This would be a like I'm assuming. Yeah, you're right. It looks just like MLB Showdown for cars.
Film, style, attribute, top speed.
I hope it's a game and not just like stats, right? No, it's a card game. It is a card game.
I don't know. It's play and discover. So I guess it's learning about cars and also, I don't know how you do
Time to
it.
be fast.
Racing, I guess?
$7 on Amazon. I bet it's even cheaper on like eBay or something. That's cool. That's really cool. I'm gonna buy one of these because I want to check it out. We can play it at the barbecue.
Ooh, yeah.
Buckle up, educational card game. Entertaining educational card game. Okay.
All right. I texted Heather. We will see what she says. But yes, this is cool, Nick. Thank you for following up. This is very cool. I would love to play this game. That sounds good.
Oh,
Looks good.
it's like this is. What do you do? It looks like you just pick a stat, and whoever has the highest stat wins. That's
So it's like war. It's war.
yes, yes.
But like
That's
you
what-
know if you're holding an ace or something.
yeah, you're right. Now that I think about it, it's probably like you put a card down, you pick the stat, and then you trump it. Top trumps. That would make sense, right?
Yeah. Our next email from Montez, subject line, surprise. She says, I fell behind again. Ugh, Montez. Working till 10 every night for the last 3 weeks is frying my brain. Also, the new podcast update really fucked me because now it's showing I haven't listened to any episodes. Thanks, technology.
I'm sorry, Montez. I'm sorry you're working so late. That sucks.
She emails in again, too, so we'll get back to her in a second.
Cool.
Our next email is a request from you fulfilled by Jenny. Subject line, olives, question mark.
Okay.
Olives, question mark?
That's that's it? That's the whole email?
No. That's the
Okay.
subject line. Hi, guys. As I was driving through a parking lot after having dinner, I heard Nick's email and Joe's request, so here I am sitting in the parking lot writing the email. It's crazy, but some people just don't like olives. I love them. One of my favorite pizza toppings. I also want to chime in and say I've only ever eaten at or been near one Cracker Barrel restaurant. It was okay. Kind of different because of the country fried menu choices. The main thing I remember is the large, spendy gift shop. I don't even remember where it was, probably in Montana on a road trip. There is a big gift shop because people love I guess that's where Top Trump's Fast and Furious is. But I know they also have like the wicker rocking chairs on the front porch that you can also buy if you want to have like a wicker rocking chair, right? So
Yeah, that's cool.
Jenny says, I also have a podcast recommendation for Haley, the Purrcast with 3 R's. The tagline, the Purrcast. Talking to cat people because we can't talk to their cats. It's not overly exciting, but it's one I listen to at work and helps pass the time. And I totally relate to a lot of the guests. I also enjoy their Facebook page where my kind of people are. Well, got to get back on the road for home. Did you notice my font changed the quote I pasted later, Jenny? I did notice, Jenny. It's like kind of like a Wells thing with this font changing.
The Purrcast. I'm gonna go follow. I bet that they have cute pictures.
Purrrcast.
Found it. They have a cute logo too. Okay, cool. I'll give them a like. Thank you, Jenny, for the recommendation to Haley, and I will steal it.
So Heather says she's way behind in commissions in stuff, and so she can't take anything new on. So I'm just going to send to her. That's going to get as a gift that's going to drive her crazy. Dom Toretto. I got nothing but time. So
Nice.
you know, Perfect. 3 hours.
Perfect. You're right. Yeah, well, there you go.
Thank you, Jenny. Okay. So, Joe, I got some, this is a groundbreaking email.
What is it?
Subject line. Who is Wells Lamont?
Who is Wells Lamont?
Previously on Too Fast, Too Forever, Alex was at Home Depot, sent us a picture of Wells Lamont gloves.
Yes.
He said, who is Wells Lamont? So here we go. Watching 8F right now, and I think I'm going to start repping the Cuban mile instead of the quarter mile. I'm also going Cuban for my Nas. The quarter mile will always be my first love, though.
Okay. Just full on laughing gas instead.
Roman, I told you my engine seized up. Letty, it was your balls that seized up. I love that line. He says they need to invent a 600 DVD player so you can load up everything and it can be alphabetical order so it's simple to find what movie you want to watch. Well, I know that they did those for CD players. There was the Kaleidoscape. Do you remember the Kaleidoscape?
No, what is this?
The Kaleidoscape, from what I remember when it first came out, was like a closet-sized server that you would rip your Blu-rays, or not even Blu-rays probably, just DVDs at the time. And so it wasn't just like you would have the movie, but you'd have the whole disc. And I don't know how they got around piracy, privacy, whatever, but you would have this gigantic server in your closet that would then, connect over internet to your TV, and you wouldn't have to put the disc in. You would just be like, okay, so like, let me just like scrolling through Netflix, but like all the discs you own. And I was like, This sounds amazing. And it was like $8,000. I'm like, I'm never buying it.
Yeah.
I don't have that much money, and I also don't mind getting up and putting a disc in, but I would be down for a 600 disc DVD player.
Well, like now you have all the streaming stuffs, right? Like I get that the discs are fun and have like the bonus features and stuff, but for the most part, like Netflix or anything like that, like what did you have? You have all the digital copies of a bunch of Blu-ray things too. What's it called? Like Silver something?
Well, they have like a lot of, they just come with the digital copies that there's there's Movies Anywhere, which I think used to be Disney Movies Anywhere, and like a bunch of different companies synced up. And so now if you buy things on like Amazon or Google or maybe Apple or Vudu, like a bunch of different places, you can watch them anywhere. So like everything I have that I have a digital copy for is just on Vudu. And so
Okay, yeah.
I haven't redeemed everything because like I don't open the thing until I watch it, but like as soon as I open it, I just redeem it on Vudu and I can watch it anywhere. So like it's cool. Like it's not every movie. The disc is always gonna be better. Like a Blu-ray is gonna be better quality than streaming, but like
Yeah.
it's pretty good.
It's pretty cool. I like it.
Here's the story.
Okay.
I've never used my full name on social media. I never knew what I was getting into downloading these apps. I literally downloaded Twitter because they'd show famous people's tweets during sporting events, and I thought that was pretty cool. So I'm in my buddy's truck, and it's time to choose a Twitter handle, and I open his glove compartment, and there's a pair of gloves. I picked them up, and they say Wells Lamont. It was perfect. It was almost my name, but not, so that's what I chose. I was Wells Lamont on Twitter from 2012 to 2018 before I got banned. I got banned for making a joke and ending it with, quote, "or I'll kill you." Someone reported it as a threat, and I was gone. I made the email wellslamont457 strictly for my Twitter, and that's the one I somehow used for your podcast. In 2016, I got a DM from the actual Wells Lamont company's Twitter account asking if I'd give them my handle. I was Wells Lamont. They were Wells_Lamont. I had like 2,800 followers, so they probably didn't want people thinking I was them. They offered me merch, but I said 2 G's. They offered me 200. I said 1,500. They said no. However long later, they DM me again asking what it would take to get my handle. I said 500 right now, and it's yours. They said 250. I said, sorry, bros. Then I got banned 2 years later, and now the handle is gone forever, and no one can use it. Every so often, one of my followers would ask me if I'm the glove guy, LOL. My first name is Wells, but my last name is not Lamont. I wish my name was Joe. How much better would that have been? I'm actually glad I never used my full name because people won't like a tweet and they'll find where you work and live and destroy you. I've seen people post a tweet and get fired 3 hours later. Shit gets wild on the bird. I love the bird.
That's so incredible. Better than I could have ever imagined. Wow.
So I DM'd him on Twitter and I was like, so wait, what's your name? I'm like, I'm never going to hire you. So I'm never going to fire you. But what's your name? So he told me his name, which I'll tell you off mic.
We're not gonna out him, right? Like,
no, of course not.
Yeah, I don't care. But that's hilarious.
But I was like,
that
oh man. I have a policy, sort of. That's a strong word, but like I don't read these emails ahead of time. But when I got an email that said, "Who is Wells Lamont?" I was like, I got to read this one. I can't wait. I can't wait 3 or 4 days to read this. I have to read this now.
Okay.
So like, I was out on my walk. It was like 11 o'clock at night on like Friday or something. I DM'd him immediately. I was like, what? That's what he told me. So
that's really cool. That's a great story though. Yeah, that's fun. That's really fun.
And it all happened because Alex saw a pair of Wells Lamont gloves in Home Depot or whatever, Lowe's, whatever.
And it's actually from the gloves. That's really, really funny.
Yeah. Wells goes on to say, "Okay, bros, I've wasted enough of your time. I'll catch you I'll catch you players on the other side. Soon enough, we'll have to discuss plans for 9F. 9F can't wait. P.S. Discord for Lap 9 sounds perfect. I'm stoked you already have a movie picked out. P.S. again, thanks for figuring out the large tech situation. Haha. Peace, anus, bromatanias." So, cool. Thanks, Wells. All right. Our next email from Justin Kleiman, 3 fast, 3 vaxxed.
Oh, and poor dude, Justin got me kind of disappointed for this weekend, actually.
Why?
As I was driving back on Friday, he sends me a message and he's like, "Hey, are you in Pittsburgh?" And I was like, "I'm driving there right now." And he's like, "Well, Tokyo Drift is playing in like the theater that I always go to in Pittsburgh." And I was like, "I'm not going to be home in time. I didn't even think about this."
Oh,
I
damn.
know. And I was like, "Thank you. That was awesome that you thought of it and thought to warn me." I totally misplayed this, so
You fucked up the Pirates. You fucked up Tokyo Drift.
I fucked up everything.
The Penguins lost.
I know.
All right. Justin says, what a night. I just got back from 3 fast with his friend and his Japanese wife. I asked her what this movie is like for someone from Japan. She said, quote, really funny, but why do they hire a bunch of non-Japanese to speak terrible Japanese?
Touche.
Regarding who fucked up, Sean's mom or dad, I paid close attention. It's definitely dad. Hell yeah. He opens the door and says, I thought you were coming on the 7th. Sean says it is the 7th. Then in the next scene, he blames the mom for saying it was the 7th and not understanding the time change. Clearly, she did understand, though, because she told him the 7th and he arrived on the 7th. The dad just forgot what day it was and was trying to get out of it. Whew. Justin. Music to my ears. Lastly, when I was driving to the movie, Vonnie called me to say there was a Vax opening. All of a sudden, she ran up to the pharmacy and got Hank a shot in his arm. Whole family is covered now. What a day. 4 fast next week.
Congrats to Hank for getting his vaccine too. That feels awesome because they just opened it up for I think
12 to 15. Yep.
Yeah, 12 to 15. So he must have been like right on the as soon as it happened. So good for him. That's awesome and good for you. I'm sure that you enjoy the peace of mind. So
yeah, for sure. And he sent a picture of Han with his ladies at the club that I sent to you on Facebook.
Yes, it's really cool.
Very cool.
I'm so jealous, man.
Cool.
Tokyo Drift is like the fucking one I would want to see in a theater too.
Yeah.
I just fucked it up. Thank you, Justin, for telling me anyways. I appreciate you.
Montez emails again with the subject line, so, ... She says, I think I finally figured out my podcast issue, but I'm a few behind, but I got this.
Okay.
She says, I'm having another surgery next week, so I'll probably need something to keep me laughing during recovery. Well, good luck thinking of you, Montez.
Surgery.
Sending you lots of love.
Lots of love. Lots and lots of love.
Oh, and my dude does have a lawnmower, but it blows bubbles, so it's not really dangerous. We have a bubble lawn care service for anyone needing any bubble work done. Cool. Please come up. Bubble my lawn.
Yeah, please. I've pretty much given up bubbling my lawn. I mean, I just have the guys come through, they bubble it for me, and pay them every 2 weeks. So
yeah. But the real reason, Montez says for this email, is my cousin just asked if my local theater was open again. I clicked on their website for Friday and ... and a picture, Fast Friday, Fast and Furious, 2D, 7 p.m.
2D. I like that. That's
just what you guys are everywhere I look. Stay tuned for some incoming postcards. Love, Montez. Well, thank you, Montez. I'm looking forward to the postcard.
Montez. I would love another postcard whenever you deem it fit. I will be joyous to receive it. I promise.
Yeah. And our last 2 emails, both from Alex Ellen, and let's see if he's going to break any other news, because last week he broke the case wide open about Wells Lamont. So here we go.
Yeah.
Finally listened to the Spy Racers Mexico episode with Nico and Kevo. There was some talk about LGBTQ representation, and I don't remember this getting mentioned in either the last 2 episodes, but late last year, Tyler Posey came out as bisexual, and he's the voice of Tony. Not the same as representation in the show itself, but he's still employed, whereas 10 or 15 years ago, that might have gotten him blacklisted from a lot of things, especially a kid's show based on, quote, a macho man action franchise. Well, I don't know if we talked about it on air. But we definitely talked about it with them. But yeah, Nico has a big crush on Tyler Posey, so.
I think that he probably went down the Tyler Posey OnlyFans tangent, and you might have cut it out.
Yeah, there were certain things that I cut out, and then other things I left in. I cut out a whole thing about, it was harmless. It was just about a TV show that Nico talked about for 5 or 10 minutes, but then I left in, the pedophile thing. So, I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. I just get caught up in the moment. I don't get it. I don't understand.
But we did. We had a conversation with them at one point about Tyler Posey and him seeing naked pictures of him.
By the way, Spy Racers related, we'll talk about it again maybe, or bringing it up from the news on the streets, leaked news about a Spy Racers video game possibly coming out. Yeah. So, this is the franchise that nobody seems to talk about, but will not die.
It honestly is doing really well based on what they keep making, right? It can't be doing awful if nobody's talking about it, but they keep generating new content. I don't know, man. I don't know.
I don't know either, but
We'll have to play
we'll
the
cover
video
it when it
game.
comes out. We'll
Yeah.
play it. I'll play it, whatever, right? So,
Nico and Keva said they want to like Twitch stream it,
oh yeah.
and play with you. So yeah, I'll watch for sure. I'm down to watch always. So yeah.
And the last email from Alex, subject line, terrible news. And this is something we also knew about, which is also sort of on the streets. He says, as I write this, it's 10:45 p.m. on May 18th, which was last night, Tuesday the 18th. And I just found out Fast 9 releases in South Korea tomorrow, which is today. In fact, it releases international everywhere tomorrow, the 19th. What the fuck? Really regretting not buying those coronavirus special plane tickets that sold for $300. I found there's a joke about now. So
I know.
it's out there.
Yeah.
Reviews are out there. Spoilers are out there. Videos are out there. There's a girl who follows us. I think she used to listen to she runs a really popular Michelle Rodriguez Instagram fan page. She listens to the episodes, especially in the Letty lap, and she messaged us on Twitter when I posted the thing like, hey, just be careful. And like, even like, not the official Fast and Furious, but there's like a Fast Saga or whatever. There's like some like sort of big fan account, and they tweeted it and I retweeted just like, hey, spoilers are out there, like just be on the lookout, because it's a month. It's a month from now until it's here. So like, what? Why? What? Come on.
It just sucks because people are gonna be hype. And so, like, I don't even think that people are gonna like intentionally be bags of dicks about it.
No.
You're just gonna be hype and be like, "Oh my god!" And then when this happened, and like,
And that's what the Kira was saying, the Michelle Rodriguez fan page girl, was that like the clips are all over Instagram already. So like she scours Instagram for Michelle Rodriguez stuff and like will share it or repost it or whatever. And like,
oh yeah, that poor girl. She probably has
Yeah.
to like, because if you're searching like Michelle Rodriguez hashtags, she's probably seen
Yep.
half the movie at this point, right?
I know. So it sucks. So yes, no spoilers, please. So the TLDR here, and Alex, thank you for writing this in. Just be careful. If you find things out,
We're not
don't
gonna
share it
spoil it
with
for
us.
you.
Don't share it with anybody. Just
We're not
wait.
going to spoil it for you. None of our stuff will be spoilers.
We are going to, the schedule will have us the Tuesday after it comes out. So like 3 days later or whatever, we will put a spoiler episode.
But it's labeled. And
See it then. Yeah. And we're not going to spoil it in other episodes. It will be doable to listen to the show if you want to keep listening. You can't get to the movies or whatever or you want to wait for VOD like after 30 days or whatever, right? Like we'll make it doable so that you can still listen to most of the episodes. But Joe and I will see it that Thursday night, record Friday or Saturday, and just put it out and like just get it out and talk about it, right? So
yeah, for sure.
So anyway, thank you all for emailing in. family@cageclub.me if you want to email in. Good mailbag today.
Very good mailbag.
Revelations,
Tons.
updates, news.
Glove. If the glove fits, you must acquits.
O.J. Simpson on Comedy Bang Bang this week.
Oh really? Wow.
Not the real O.J. Simpson. There's Carl Tart does O.J. Simpson. He's been on a bunch. It's very funny. You take care now. Joe, on the streets, news about the Fast and Furious. So,
We have a bunch. I mean, like, I have one that's very important for today. Brian's Supra is for sale. Wes, tipped us in on this. The actual movie original Toyota Supra that we also know is Slapjack's Supra, but has been reconfigured to be Brian's from the first movie, is for sale at Barrett-Jackson. That's fucking awesome.
there was something that I found that I bought. There was a new 4K release, like just like another box. It's just a repackaging. There's a steel book, but it also came with, at Best Buy, there's a Best Buy exclusive of the first movie, the 20th anniversary. There's a cool case, and there's like postcards and booklets and stuff like that. So if you want to buy the movie like I did for like the 6th time, you now can.
I'm staring at the VHS in front of me right now.
I have the VHS, I have the DVD, I have the Blu-ray, I have the 4K, and now I have the 4K collectors. So
That's so awesome. I love it.
And that's the one I watched today because I'm just like, I want to make sure that it's the same. It's the same as the one that that came out like when they remastered like a year or two ago. Where I was like, whatever.
Cool.
We also found out that there is, and who sent us this? Nico sent us this, that Michelle Rodriguez is hosting a Fast and Furious inspired competition show called Getaway Driver for Discovery, which is going to be very cool.
I'm very amped on that because we loved like all these other, what was like the drift one called?
Hyperdrive.
Hyperdrive. Yeah, that was a fun one. Did they ever come out with more Hyperdrive?
Nope.
Dude, I had so much fun. And the guy with the goofy name, what was it? Winner Champion or something.
Hold on. I'm looking right now. Diego Higa won. He was fucking awesome. Fielding Shredder.
Fielding Shredder. Yes.
Yeah.
That's such a badass name. I want to be that dude. If I could pick my name, that's what I would go with.
Oh, right. I forgot that Charlize was the producer on this.
Yeah, and she was in like a half a clip of one episode, remember?
Oh, you're like doing donuts or whatever, right?
No, she like went to South Africa, like met that little girl. And
Oh,
then, like,
right. Yes. Wiki's still in the present tense. It doesn't say was a docuseries or documentarian non-scripted reality show. It says is. So maybe it'll come back. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe it was pandemic stuff. I don't know either.
It was cool though. I want more of that. I mean,
it was fun.
I'll trade 2 seasons of Spy Racers for 1 season of Hyperdrive.
I think that's a bad. That's not the right ratio. It has to be like 3-4 seasons of Spy Racers for 1 Hyperdrive.
Oh boy. Other news, NBC announced a Young Rock holiday special. So we're talking about a Christmas episode, a Christmas movie of Fast and Furious. We're not going to get that, but Young Rock holiday coming out this fall, this winter, whatever. So
it's just going to be like one holiday special episode and that's it?
Yeah, it seems like NBC is doing 3 or 4 different shows. I think the Keenan show and that show and one other show are all doing like holiday sort of one-offs. So it's pretty cool.
I get tons of advertisements for the Keenan show on Hulu.
Have you watched Keenan episode 1?
No, I'm just here for The Rock, man. That's it.
Yeah, I get it.
Dewey only.
Instead of OnlyFans, it's only Dewey.
Yeah. As long as it's just like non-sexual pictures of the smallest rock boy just like doing normal little boy things, I would find that very enjoyable.
Non-nude, $9 a month to Hulu, only Dewey.
Dewey only. Yeah.
Any other news that you've seen?
No, that was it.
All right, let's do the Fast and the Furious minute for Too Fast, Too Furious, minute 11. There's only one possible title for this minute.
Yes.
It's Brian Rodriguez's favorite quote from this movie, "Bend over, boy."
Not tonight, baby.
Bend over, boy.
Damn, girl! Last turn. Too wide. Oh, stretch, baby! Gotta go, dog!
In this minute, as the race continues, 3 guys break into the bridge control room, which we don't know what it is yet, but it's the bridge control room. Suki boosts to catch up to the pack, then rams the back of Orange Julius's car. Brian passes Slapjack at the final turn and speeds by him to catch up. Slapjack hits the NOS. So, the first character we see use NOS, and I even went back to last minute to see if we missed it. We see Slapjack use NOS. Here at the end, he hits it too because Brian passes him. Slapjack goes too wide, Brian goes the inside on the last turn, whatever, right?
Yes.
Is there any way in the world Suki's car does what Suki's car does to start this minute off where she doesn't use NOS? Like, she uses NOS, we just don't see her use NOS, right?
One would assume. And I think that the telling factor in that is the blur.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think the blur is like director speak for saying like NOS was used. So you don't see her hit a NOS button, but we would assume that she uses NOS as her car speeds around, right?
Because I went back, because it literally is in the first second or 2 of this minute that Suki bursts to catch up, right? And I went back to the last minute because I'm like, we would have remembered if she had hit NOS, we hadn't seen the effects. But she didn't. She just boosts. And so, like, they make a big point of showing Slapjack hitting the N20 thing on his steering wheel. He's got 2 of them.
Yes.
So we see him hit one, and we see him take off, but we don't see Suki do it, but she pretty clearly, I think, does it. So,
yeah, I would think so.
So what did you see here? What did you find this minute? You said you got a lot of cool stuff.
Something that I thought was much cooler until I just saw the Barrett Jackson pictures. I finally got something in a car in Slapjack's Supra, which is Brian's Supra. I found the Greddy Turbo Boost Gauge, and I have a picture of it. Couldn't find, like, the model number of it, but I found the exact same one. Now actually just confirmed it with the Barrett Jackson pictures. Orange Julius's plate number. I saw them pass a helm bank, which is there, but the signs have changed, so I couldn't find it. And most importantly, if you see where I am, and you click that South Miami Bridge link.
Oh, yeah, look at that bridge, the tower bridge thing, the control room.
Exactly.
With a shirtless dude riding his bike.
With a shirtless dude riding his bike that got caught on Google Maps. That's it. There's only one bridge tower. That's the tower from the clip. And you can walk across the bridge and see what part will open. and see where they would jump to.
There are two people, maybe armed, probably not, but like two people guarding, standing sentry outside that bridge control room. Not in this picture. So they have moved since 2003 for some reason, but no longer there in this picture. But they're there guarding, and they let these three hoodlums in. So I guess they're
No. It's the other way around. They break in, and then you see them standing watch outside of it.
Oh, okay.
Yes, it's not guarded. It's just locked. They break in, and then they're like, hey, stand out front in case we need to bounce, right? Like, that's what's happening.
And they use what do they use? Like, what's the thing called that they use to break the lock? It's not a tire iron. It's like a
crowbar.
Yeah, maybe.
Like
it's like a thin, wide crowbar. If they kind of like pop under the like bolt lock and just like rip it off.
Yeah, I would consider that a crowbar.
Okay. You know what I did notice here about this movie? This race is so much more frantic and frenetic than the first race in The Fast and the Furious. Like the one that we watched for this episode. It's kind of calm and tranquil compared to this. Like this is like neon in your face, people going fast and everything. And our first race in the first movie is just like, yeah, hey guys, we're racing.
It was a lot more of like, what is the car doing? And this is so much more of like watching their faces as they race. Like, there's definitely, like, them, like, pedals and shifting and stuff, but we had so many more interior shots of the cars, as opposed to here, you just see, like, their hand shifting, and it's way more focused on just, like, their expressions and them looking in the mirror, seeing where everyone is, as opposed to, like, the other stuff, so.
Plus, this race starts, like, 9 or 10 minutes faster in the movie. Like, there's action in the first action in this movie is the race, but the first action in the first movie is the heist, right? And then the second action is the race.
Yes.
It starts around like I think minute, like I was looking because I was like, oh, this kind of feels late because I knew that like this starts like 8 or 9, right? Like minute 8 or 9 and Too Fast we're already going. But in the first one, I think it's like 16 or 17 or even 18. Like it doesn't really get started till then. But considering it's a movie about car racing, essentially, right? Like that's a fifth into the movie before we get our first race. And here, you know, we're like less than 10% in, right? And she's like, boom.
Yeah, they have to set you up with like what the movie's going to be in the first one, though. So like it makes sense that this one could come faster.
It's not a bad thing. It's just interesting, I think, to point out.
This one literally starts at the race, right? Like the first thing we see is like Tej getting ready to start this race. So they're throwing you right into the movie.
Any other things that you have seen that you noticed that you want to call attention to in this minute?
I think those were the cool things that I saw. I think I mentioned all of them, and I have them all in the document, so I think I'm good.
Cool. So the question I have, we need to be careful of the wording here, because I even changed it since I wrote it. But the new wording is, which character did we first see use Nas in Too Fast, Too Furious? The answer is Slapjack, because we think the first character who uses Nas is Suki.
As hit a Nas button? Is that a more definitive answer?
Which character did we first see hit the Nas? Do you want to say button?
Yeah, I think hit the Nas can be construed to be like, you know, you could assume Suki did, because I assume Suki did, but who's the first character we see use a Nas button or hit a Nas button?
Hit a Nas button in Too Fast, Too Furious.
Now, I think it's worded that you can't argue against it, because this
Slapjack.
100% true. Yep, Slapjack it is.
Joe, let's take a break and let us come back and talk about The Fast and the Furious with our very special guest.
Welcome back to Too Fast, Too Forever. This is episode number 182, The Fast and the Furious, Lap 9. This episode is brought to you by Jacob's Auto Sales Incorporated. They pride themselves on direct service and doing clear-cut, honest business, no games, no pressure. Jacob's Auto Sales.
Well, shout out to them, and welcome back to Too Fast, Too Forever. So, Joe, the last two laps, we've had comic book people on the entire time. 2 laps ago, we had Nico and Keva on.
Yeah.
Last lap, we had Heather Antos on, and we're like, new lap, new thing. Oh, wait, no, we're going back to the comic book well. Tonight, to join us for The Fast and the Furious, we have a comic book guy. We've got a podcaster. We've got, hold on, I want to get his bio right, because I like this so much. Hold on.
Okay.
All right. We've got writer, podcaster, thinker, dad. I really want to get to the dad part because I want to make sure the dad part was here because I think it was a cool bio. But we have with us tonight, joining us to talk about The Fast and the Furious, Jay Sandlin. Hello, Jay.
Who's your daddy?
I guess you? Is that
Dom?
where we're Dom?
Well, if you're asking Vin Diesel, it's Dwayne Johnson.
Ooh. We've got some heat in the kitchen there already.
I hope so. Thank you guys so much for having me. And yes, those words do come off my website. I need to update it a little bit these days with what I've been doing. But like you said, it's jaysandlin.com. You can find where I'm releasing comics, books, and podcasts on a pretty regular basis.
That's awesome. Well,
That's
very
so
cool.
awesome.
Very glad to have you. You are officially kicking off our 9th lap, our 9th time through these movies. We are on the road to F9 here because F9 coming out in a month, finally, hopefully. It's out in Korea right now. It's doing gangbusters in Korea as we speak. Before we get going talking about this movie, we've got some questions to ask you, some background questions, some either-or questions. Are you ready for some of the hardest-hitting journalism you are ever going to hear?
Let's go.
How many of these movies, of these 9 Fast and Furious movies, the 8 plus Hobbs and Shaw, how many of these have you seen?
Like 3.
All right.
Okay.
Which have you seen, I guess? And do you have rankings of them?
I've seen 1, 2, Tokyo Drift, and Part 3.
Well, Tokyo Drift is 3.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah.
Okay, so you got the first 3. Okay, cool. Can you rank them? Can you put them in order? Or do you all like them all about the same?
You mean from best to worst?
Favorite to least favorite, best to worst,
Yeah.
however you want to rank them. Let the spirit guide you.
When I say, that I've seen those, I mean like in theaters and in their
Forever
entirety.
ago. Okay, yeah.
The rest of them I have seen in bits and pieces. So
Okay.
I would say in ranked from worst to best, Too Fast, Too Furious really
Okay.
sucks, even for the passionate lovers of the films. Then Fast and the Furious, The Fate of the Furious, Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw, Fast and Furious 6, The Fast and the Furious original, then Furious 7, which is actually really good. Then Tokyo Drift actually was probably my number 2. To watch Fast 5, I think Fast 5 is just kind of firing on all cylinders with the nitrous on. So
Those are
that's
some
that's
Pretty
my
solid rankings.
Well,
I like
thank you. I'm just doing
So
my
you
best.
have this one. If I heard it right, this one is it 4th? You have the first one as 4th.
I put the first one as about number 4. Yeah.
Okay. Overall, I would say the bellwether, the temperature of the room across the board of all fans, like this is kind of like top 3 or 4. It's like 5, 6, and this and 7. 1, 5, 6, and 7, all kind of like in that realm. Sort of not a lot of love for Too Fast. I mean, we love Too Fast, but Too Fast sort of gets left behind sometimes, unfortunately.
What you gonna do?
Short stick.
So did you see this one in theaters? What was the first time you saw this very first movie we're talking about tonight?
Well, let's see. This was like in early 2000s, and
2001, yep.
Yeah, 2001. Okay, so I was in like 7th or 8th grade.
Okay.
I think I saw it at a friend's house.
Okay.
Like, people getting
Good
together,
VHS.
watching it. It probably was a Blockbuster rental, if I had to guess. Yeah.
Ooh, that magical blockbuster in the sky.
Yes.
Yes, exactly.
So we're about the same age. Okay, so like, did you grow up as a car guy, or did you watch this because it's an action movie, like, or did you have friends who were car guys? Like, set the scene, like, how, or is it just like, hey, it's a new movie that's in Blockbuster, we're gonna watch this tonight?
Oh, well, being a new release was one, and it was just like what you said with the action element. And I liked Vin Diesel. I'm probably not getting the timelines right, but I liked Diesel from some other stuff that he did. He had been Riddick by that point, right?
I believe so. Yeah, I think he had sort of broken in with like Multifacial, which was his short film, and then he was in Saving Private Ryan, and Steven Spielberg kind of championed him, and then I don't think you get the leading role essentially of this movie without like having some kind of bona fides before, right? So
I knew I was interested in. Well, I was interested in Vin Diesel because sci-fi and hard sci-fi was something I was into from an early age. But for this, I've always loved action movies, and the cars were kind of secondary. I was never really a car guy. A bit of a motorcycle guy, though.
Oh, okay. So there's some motorcycles in this movie. So did you feel right
and that's
at home
another
toward the
thing.
end?
See, that was what I was going to say. I didn't know that there would be motorcycles, but like setting up with the motorcycle thieving and the heist element and the mystery behind the riders. That was probably one of my favorite aspects of the film.
Well, that's very cool. So we will get into all of your favorite parts, your least favorite parts a little bit later, but we got some either or questions, just kind of get a sense, because at the end of the episode, we're going to do a character quiz. We're going to find out which of these characters you are based on the things you like, who you are, sort of that stuff. But like, these are just either or, no wrong answers, just what feels right in your heart. So
all right.
Are you ready for some of these questions?
Lay it on me.
Do you consider yourself more of a Brian O'Connor or Dominic Toretto?
Dominic Toretto.
Wow, okay.
Well, he's a dad. He's the daddy Dom.
Are you more of a Mia Toretto or a Letty Ortiz?
Letty Ortiz all day.
Okay. There's a scene where Brian and Mia are doing dishes in the kitchen, and Vince comes in drunk, and Vince is very antagonistic, and Mia's having none of it. And Brian wants to take Mia out on a date, and Mia asks Vince about this restaurant he wanted to take her to, and she gets the name from him, and she's like, Brian, cool, you can take me there. But in her description, she says about this place, Cha Cha Cha, she says it's got the little red candles, the wooden tables, the food all over the place. So now, Jay, say Joe and I, you come out east, and we're like, Jay, thank you for being on the pod. Like, let's take you out to dinner. We know this great Cuban place. It's got red candles. It's got wood tables. It's got food all over the place. When you hear us describe this restaurant as having food all over the place, what are you picturing in your head? Because we can't figure it out for the life of us.
Health code violations.
Ooh.
Okay.
And probably vermin. That's
Yeah.
what so.
Needs the Orkin Man for sure. If there's food all over the
Orchid
floor.
Man. Will probably be another spin-off before long.
So you definitely see it as a negative. Like, you don't see it as a positive, like, oh, there's food I can eat everywhere. It's just like, oh, no, this place, it has problems.
Yeah, chaotic, messy, and gross.
Okay,
For your
okay.
adjectives there.
I feel like, Joe, am I wrong? Like, I feel like most times people think it's more, like,
Buffet.
neutral or positive. Like,
Yeah.
negative, I feel like maybe now that I hear it like this, like, it might be a bad thing. I don't know. I mean...
Some people have said, like, like, it's kind of, like, grimy, like, food on the walls, or, like, there was a food fight there. But, like, this is, like, food all over the place is, like, they don't clean up after themselves, Like, the restaurant's grimy.
So now moving past this movie for a second, and if you don't know the answer to any of these questions, you can just pass. We can go to the next one. But going to Too Fast for a second, are you more of a Tej, the ludicrous character, or are you more of a Roman, the Tyrese character?
I'm not cool enough to be either one, but I'll say ludicrous between the two because Tyrese is just a badass, and I'm not that much of a badass.
I love
Very
Tyrese.
true.
I
mean,
Roman.
not of you, but I mean, just like they're both super cool.
No, I'm not
think you're a
afraid
total
to admit
badass.
it. Not afraid to admit it. Not a badass.
I do feel like by you saying that, you're not a Roman, because Roman would never doubt himself even for a second.
True, maybe.
Do you have a preference? So you're in the Midwest, and I don't know if this is going to play into this at all. Do you have a preference between In-N-Out Burger and Whataburger?
I've had both.
Maybe, I don't know if you're in the Midwest. I know
and
you're in Central Time Zone. I don't know where you are, but it's a point of contention.
I'm in Alabama, motherfucker.
Oh, you're a Bama boy. Okay.
You say
okay.
I'm from the Midwest, we're gonna have to throw hands.
You're almost in Whataburger territory, almost.
But In-N-Out Burger is better than Whataburger. We have
Thank
Sonic,
you.
though. But, In-N-Out Burger is a higher class of burger. It's better prepared, better ingredients. It's a little higher class of burger. It's not a chaotic burger.
What is
Yeah,
chaotic
okay.
burger?
Chaotic burger is the shit that you get at Whataburger, which they scraped off the floor and served to you after rubbing it with their dried cum stains from jacking off to pictures of your mom. How about that?
Wow.
Is this an
that
adult
is-
show? I'm sorry.
I will abide you kind of trashing the movies a little bit, but Whataburger's a different
He
thing.
loves
I mean,
Whataburger. I'm a big In-N-Out
I don't love
fan.
Whataburger, but I was in Austin for a couple of years, and I kind of fell in love with Whataburger, and I'm unimpressed by In-N-Out, but,
I love
I'm not going to go to
In-N-Out.
bat for
So much-
Whataburger.
So much better.
I'm sorry. Are they sponsoring the show this week? I
No,
love
we got
Whataburger.
Jacob something or other. Jacob's Auto Body or something, right? So,
Jacob's
It's
Auto
more like
Sales.
what? It's more like what the fuck burger.
Jay, do you think that Brian O'Connor is a good cop or a bad cop? Is he good at his job or is he bad at his job?
I think he's bad at his job.
Yeah, we debate this a lot because you're like, he kind of catches the criminal, but he also lets them go.
You got to close the deal, man.
Yeah, I think that's like the whole part of like being a cop.
Yeah, it's what I told my fifth grade teacher taught me. She said, I told her I came close to solving the math problem. Like all my work was correct. It was just what I put in the answer blank that was wrong. And she looked at me and said, well, close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades, Jay.
And what did you say back to her?
Well, nothing. But then later I saw her in a La Hacienda getting drunk off her ass on a Thursday afternoon. She fell off the stool, and I went and helped picked her up. She looked up at me and said, Jay? And I said, Mrs. Burke, you were close to the stool, but close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades, bitch. And then I kicked the stool out from under her.
Damn. Sounds like you won, and Mrs. Burke. I mean, Mrs. Burke also sounds like she won the story. She sounds like she was having a good time.
Thursday night, man. It's like you probably.
Well,
cheat.
Brian O'Connor might have been having a good time too, but he missed the stool. So there you go.
Oh, ooh. Bad cop, in parentheses, missed the stool, which I
it.
guarantee you that the next time I look at this sheet, I'm going to be like, I don't remember what this means.
Yeah.
But right now, I think it's a great thing to add.
You got to solve the case, man, if you're going to be a good cop.
We pull a job, we pull a heist, we each get $11 million. We're talking about Fast Five, firing on all cylinders. We all get $11 million. We go to Vegas, we go to Monte Carlo, we go to Rio, we go to Atlantic City, wherever you want to go. We go to the roulette table. Are you putting it all on red, or are you putting it all on black? Where are you gambling your money?
Always bet on black.
Yep. Overwhelmingly, this podcast has proven that everybody, even if they haven't seen Passenger 57, loves Passenger 57 because of Wesley Snipes.
Yes.
Jay, when we pull that job, are you a racer or are you a designer? Are you out there in the field doing the thing, or are you the man in the chair acting as support from HQ?
Whew, that is a tough one because I've never done a job like that. Not yet. I'll tell you what, I'm going to say that I'm out pulling it because I my entire life and how I first learned to tell a story was in theater and on the stage. And I always wanted to be the guy acting the role than the guy directing the role or working on the tech crew or that kind of thing. So if I cast it like it's a play, I'm definitely an actor on stage and in the action.
Okay, cool.
That makes
I
a
like
lot of
that.
sense. I like that, yeah.
Are you more of a fan of American muscle cars or imports?
Definitely the American muscle cars. I'm always a fan of Ford muscle cars. You know, the Mustangs, the classic Cobra. Foreign imports, though, the Italians are also hard to beat. So I want to be patriotic here, guys. I want to be patriotic. Where is the, I'm going to pronounce it wrong, probably the Mechlin from?
McLaren?
McLaren is what I'm trying to say. Thank you. I think it's
English.
That's English? Close enough to American. You know, we have the same roots.
Cousins.
Yeah, I would love. I mean, of course, you would love to have a McLaren and an Italian car, an Italian job, but
Supercars, yeah.
something about the American muscle car, and I think the new, not to swap franchises on us, but the Batman. The next Batmobile is based on like an American muscle car.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, take a look.
From the Batman, from the R-Pats one?
Yes, the
that's
Batman.
good.
It's a Plymouth Barracuda.
Batmobile.
A Plymouth Barracuda. Oh, that's really
70 Plymouth Barracuda. Looks like a modified one with a Ford Triton V10 engine added on, according to Screen Rant.
You know more about it than I do then. I just thought it looked pretty fucking cool. But yeah, the American muscle car. Let's go with that.
It also, they say, looks like a late 60s Camaro or even a Firebird, but it's definitely a 60s or 70s era muscle car. So yeah, you are for sure in that. We've already established that he's our Batman, so it makes sense
fans,
that it's a badass car too. Jay, this is going to be an interesting question, I think, because of and I'm saying this as a positive, and I'm hoping that I'm right, maybe, because of the accent you have. Is the word oil one syllable or two?
Oil. One syllable.
I backfired on me. All right. Are you more a fan? We're almost done with these. We got a couple more, but are you more of a fan of Corona or Belgian ale?
I guess between the two, I'll say Corona, but it feels weird to say I'm a fan of Corona after the last year.
You can say anything else. There's also like door number 3 in all these questions that if you want to answer completely outside the box, you can too. But if you want to go Corona, you can. Or if you want to go something else, you can too.
What do you normally drink that's not...
Yeah, what's your go-to bev?
I'm kind of sober, actually, these days.
Okay.
I gave up alcohol about a year ago.
That's
not because I'm really opposed to drinking. I've never had a drinking problem. In college, I guess I drank like anybody else. If I drink anything, it's probably red wine.
Okay.
Big fan.
If I drink anything, but since we don't go to restaurants as much anymore, I just don't find myself drinking at all, and I may not pick it back up again.
That sounds awesome. I envy you for sure.
I prefer my CBD and marijuana shit. So I mean,
Totally fair. Yeah, I get it.
yeah, I'd rather spend money on that.
All right, Jay, we're out pulling a job. You're with us in the field now, and Joe and I say to you, we need to go in this other room and do something with the car. We're not sure yet, but we're going to figure it out when we get in there. We need you to distract everyone in this room, and we need you to shine bright like only Jay can. We need you to sing a song karaoke style. What song are you singing? Who?
Way down Louisiana, down by New Orleans.
Oh, yes.
Way back up in the woods up on the Evergreens. Stood a log cabin made of earth and wood. There lived a country boy named Johnny Be Good. You know, he never learned to read or write so well, but he could play a guitar just like he's ringing a bell. Now go! Go, Johnny, go, go, go! Everybody, go, Johnny, go, go, go!
Hey, Chuck,
And
it's your
then
cousin, Marvin. Marvin Berry.
Go, Donna, go, go, go. That was my go-to karaoke song in college when I did drink.
It's perfect.
Well, you still got it. It's
you
great.
still got it. Yeah, it sounded great.
I would try you try to get everybody to sing along with you, and then you just let them drown you out. Is kind of my goal there.
It's a good methodology. That's probably what I would have to do.
Okay, knowing that you're going to be safe either way, would you rather drive a car into a plane that's taking off or out of a plane that's already in the sky?
100% out of the plane, because there's
Hell yeah.
just a style in that. That's like a James Bond move.
It is like a James
It
Bond
is,
move.
It is.
Would you rather die in a fiery explosion? Or just no, I guess just say no, that's also fine.
No.
Die in a fiery explosion or by drowning in icy water?
Ooh, man. They both suck.
Yeah, they're not great.
They're not great. That's a tough one. What's my door number 3? Live forever?
Immortality, I guess.
Yeah.
Let's just say the fiery explosion, because maybe it would be instant and painless. I don't know if people realize, but drowning in icy water is a little... there's a reason that waterboarding is used for torture, so I think I'll go with the explosion.
Yeah, we've heard mixed reports on the water. People are like, "Oh, it's painless," and people are like, "No, it's brutally painful." So we don't know what to believe.
No, it'd be terrible. It'd be terrible.
don't
And it would
think
be... I think it would be longer. I mean, you can live a few minutes without air, but...
That's true. This is
knowing that if we've already established the explosion is fatal, it's going to be a quick death. Now, if you survive the explosion and have to crawl around burned and then live with skin grafts after, the icy water's looking a little better.
Yeah.
very fair.
You're not wrong. In Furious 7, there is kind of a throwaway line. Roman talks about taking something down, and Brian says to Roman, "The only thing I've seen you take down is no knees, Denise." If you hear of a woman or a man, anybody, just another person, as described as no knees blank, no knees Denise, what does having no knees mean to you?
It means she doesn't give blowjobs.
Okay.
She can't get
Does
down
not
on her
give
knees.
blowjobs.
Can't give blowjobs, yeah.
Okay.
I don't know how that's going to help her sexually if she doesn't have knees. I mean, does that mean that her feet are just, like, attached to her ass?
We don't know. We
I
genuinely
don't
don't know, and that's
either.
what we're trying to find out.
I don't know. Isn't that kind of like on King of the Hill, the grandfather, Cotton Hill? Like they had chopped off his legs and put them on his elbows, and his feet were on his knees or something. On King of the Hill, wasn't that a thing?
We don't have any answers. It might as well be that. I don't know. I really don't know.
Yeah,
All right.
It's just a weird thing that they say in this movie, and I still can't figure it out. And we've gotten like a ton of people trying to help, and like
Yep.
none of it really clears anything up.
And it seems to all revolve around oral sex, but it goes both ways. It's either that she doesn't give blowjobs or she gives too many. So we don't know.
Yes.
If
that's
you
the-
don't, I mean, if you don't have knees, how do you give a blowjob? Come on.
I don't know. I guess lying down. I don't know. No context to this question. Answer however you want. Revenge of the Nerds or The Dark Knight?
Dark Knight all day long, because I don't care for Revenge of the Nerds and making rape a joke.
Very well said.
Yes.
And The Dark Knight kicks ass. I was actually just rewatching it this weekend randomly because
It's great.
I'll always love the Bat Pod.
Yeah.
I would love to, if I could own any fictional vehicle, it might be the Bat Pod.
You want like a motorcycle that's inside a car.
Oh, who wouldn't? Who
I
wouldn't?
know. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Plus, like these movies, The Dark Knight's always on TV somewhere. So you can like always
Always.
put on like TNT or
Always.
whatever. And it's like, oh yeah, here we go.
Or streaming now, yeah.
Are you more of a Hobbs or a Shaw? Are you more of a Dwayne The Rock Johnson or a Jason Statham?
I mean, it's pretty obvious I'm more of a Jason Statham. I don't have the muscle mass or the I'm not a Dwayne Johnson, even though I did love Young Rock and getting to know him a bit more on that show. Jason Statham is kind of like more of an attainable goal for me. Like I try to take care of myself and exercise. I need to do more, but he is one of those that I see and I'm like, okay, goals, He is a
You could
good
accomplish
looking.
that. Yeah, you're right.
He's a good looking everyman in some ways.
He's an attainable form of masculinity and handsomeness and everything. The Rock is like,
Just
you
huge.
need to be sculpted like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you liked Young Rock just because we watched it through and talked about it
I
here.
loved it. I loved
Yeah?
it. I thought it was great. I mean, you can diss it like you know, it has issues like any other sitcom, but I thought it was pretty solid.
We really liked how wholesome it was, and we were just like, it was just great. Like, yeah.
I enjoyed watching it. I loved watching the acting castings for the wrestlers.
Yes.
was a high
Oh, yeah,
point.
yeah, yeah.
I thought they were all really well done. Especially the Macho Man. Oh, yeah.
I was pleasantly surprised by how often it did not fall into like sitcom tropes. Like there were so many opportunities for it to go like a very kind of predictable route, and like it did sometimes, but like not often. And it was kind of like a smarter show than like it had to be, I think.
And I expected, for sure. So, yeah, we really
I
enjoyed it.
really enjoyed it. Yeah.
And the final question before we kick off the conversation about this movie in particular, do you have a favorite character in the franchise? Is there one in any of these movies that you're like, that's my guy, or my woman, or whatever?
Yeah, well, you know, I did kind of diss him, but definitely Paul Walker.
Okay.
It may even be for the nostalgia about it, but, you know, watching him as Brian O'Connor and get so tied into this case. And, you know, I probably should build this movie higher on my list, but he is relatable, and I don't know. There was just, he had an it factor, and I'm really sorry that he's no longer with us, of course.
Yeah, I mean, I like him. Now, he's my answer. Like, it's either him or Han. And Han, I think, is kind of the obvious, like, Han's just cool. But, like, I like Brian because he's the entry point to the series. And, like, there's a lot of emotional weight to a lot of these things. But for so much of it, like, we're just seeing things through him. And I think he carries the franchise in a way. It's Vin Diesel's franchise now, but I feel like it's a different kind of thing. Like when Paul Walker was there with the Brian character, I think there was something like he just had it, right? So I think, yeah. I agree with you.
As much as we're always like, you know, Vin Diesel has so much input in this, like, for a while there, this was Brian's franchise, right? Like, it was totally just him.
Let's talk about this first movie, talk about your favorite moments, your least favorite moments, the conversation, the kickoff question that we're going to have every movie, because you might know, you might not know, I don't know if you've seen the trailers or not, but in F9, hitting theaters very soon, John Cena is there, and John Cena plays the mystery brother of Dominic Toretto named Jakob, and we were like, oh my god, Dom has a brother? So what we're going to try to figure out is every movie this lap.
Not only does he have this mystery brother, but, like, Letty's the one who announces it. So she seems kind of like she knew about this brother, too.
So what we're going to try to figure out for each of these movies is that as this movie is going on, John Cena exists, Jakob exists in this world. What would you imagine, Jay, in the world of the Fast and the Furious, this 2001 film, where do you think John Cena is and what's he doing in this world?
I think he is selling drugs.
Okay.
Something like his character in the Sisters movie with Amy Poehler and Tina Fey.
Yes.
Or he could be fucking Amy Schumer.
Okay.
Like in Trainwreck. Okay, cool. Okay.
Either way, he's showing his ass wherever he is.
I like that. But can you see it?
You can see it. It's all there.
Joe, what about you? Where do you think John Cena is in this world?
I like the low-level criminal thing. They start out as low-level criminals, too, so I think, like, to match this energy, I was imagining John Cena at this point so early that he's, like, kind of nerdy and just, like, kind of spying on them. So not even really a criminal. Like, he's just, like, nerdy and, like, kind of trying to get Dom's acceptance, but because he just, like, is so bland that, like, he doesn't even exist in the racing world, right? Like I imagine him as, like, a background character being like, oh, look at how cool my brother is. Also, Dom not even, like, seeing him when he's, like, at a race or something.
Do we think he's Dom's older brother or younger brother?
I don't know, and I need to look up their ages. Like,
I think he's older just because he's bigger, and I know that's not how things work, but in my brain, he's like, oh, he's the big brother, but that might
He
not
doesn't
be true.
look like... I don't think he would play a little brother. I can't see John Cena playing
tough,
anyone's
right?
little brother. No.
okay, Vin is 67.
Vin's not 67.
No, I mean born in 67. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry. That was just my shorthand for it.
He's got very good
77.
skincare products.
77, so he's 10 years younger.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
Especially since, like, Dom is is probably significantly younger than Vin Diesel. Like, he's probably like 10 years younger than Vin. So Vin is 54. Dom is probably like 45-ish. So
But
Jacob
either way,
could
we
be
give
like,
him a 10-year difference, right? Like, just like,
yeah,
we'll
so
keep
he
it
could
at
be
that.
35, like late 30s maybe, early 40s possibly.
Yeah, so like at the time, like Vin's supposed to be like, they're all supposed to be like, what, like 20s, mid 20s in the first one?
And Mia's 18, so like he's like 13.
Yeah, that's what we'd be led to believe as of what we know now.
So we know that Dom's dad, the Papa Toretto, is dead. We don't really know much about Mama Toretto, do we?
No, we've never heard her be brought up.
It does feel like if he's not in this first movie as a child, there would have had to be a falling out, or he's with other family.
Or given up
I'm
for
gonna
adoption,
say-
like foster care.
I'm going to say that he is staying with Tony Toretto, cousin Tony Toretto from the Spy Racers. He's there, and he's just living with them because Dom would love to have Jacob with him, but he's not financially successful enough, like legally so. And like, it's also not a great, because he knows he's a criminal.
Yeah.
He doesn't want a child just hanging around. Like, I think in my head, it's going to be like, when you turn 18,
You can
you'll
come
be able
move
to
in.
join us or whatever. But for now, he's just hanging out with Tony Toretto, getting into antics as a 13-year-old, whatever. That's my answer. I think
So he's like at
just
grandma's
there.
house or something. Like, I mean, yeah, okay.
All right, Jay. Now that we got that nonsense out of the way, great answers
Works
all
for
around.
me.
I think it's a great thing.
Yeah, works for me.
Let's talk about this movie. What do you love about this? What do you not love about this? Favorite moments, least favorite moments. Kick it off. We've talked about it a bunch of times. What do you have to bring to the table? What's your favorite parts of The Fast and the Furious?
The opening scene with the deserted highway, I like right off the bat that the heist crew is driving modified black Honda Civic coupes. My first car that I ever bought myself was a black Honda Civic. I think it was subconscious because of this scene. I don't know if I know I wasn't thinking it at the time, but I think later I did. Let's take it kind of sequentially.
Sure.
Because I like how Brian O'Connor, it's a small thing, but from a storytelling perspective, sometimes if you're working on building a character, and this is usually before the script is written, you might write a series Bible. And the series Bible is basically an informational guide that you can use when you're putting the script together. If you were to look in the Fast and the Furious series Bible, man, that would have been a thinner volume during this movie. You might read that Brian O'Connor is an LAPD officer who orders the same meal at the same diner every day. Regular tuna on white, no crust. I like that because it says that he's like that regular tuna on white, not remarkable. He's not that exciting. And he is definitely a vulnerable type hero, kind of in the same mold as John McClane in the first Die Hard.
Okay.
Definitely not the later Die Hards where he's an Arnold level action star. He's a lot. He doesn't have his invincibility cheat code turned on. In that same scene, when Dominic makes his intro, he's kind of presented as like the exact opposite. He's like this infamous street racer.
Yes.
And
yeah.
his how his crew rolls in. You just think cool and dangerous. You get to the illegal street race pretty quick. He's secretly trying to find a lead on the heist crew. I don't know that he really did that good of a job as an undercover cop. Because
he's terrible. He's terrible.
I feel like, it would have been pretty obvious from the beginning. Like, oh, well, who could it be?
We always laugh at the line when they're at the cha-cha-cha, and he's like, so tell me about your brother's gang. And we're like, okay, you fucking cop. Like,
Yeah.
like why would you not use like your brother's friends and like he specifically calls them a gang to Mia, and she's like, gang? Why did you say gang? Like, he's a cop
She
from
laughs.
the jump.
It's like I think it's like so incredibly off-brand for like a normal dude or on-brand for a cop that she just laughs because like what else are you supposed to say? Like what? No, like they're like a family, they're a team or whatever. It's just like not a like what are you doing?
Exactly.
Exactly. And then looking back at the show, again, the movie, and looking into some of the facts behind it, I like all they did to build some authenticity. Real life drivers had brought their cars to participate during the race. In the bigger scenes, because Brian didn't have funds, because I guess the LAPD isn't going to really even fund their agents. Good job, guys. What if he had lost? I guess the investigation's kind of over now. Oops.
Yeah.
But he when he's forced to wager his car, which was what was it? A Mitsubishi Eclipse. He has to wager it, and it reminded me of Grease at the end when they're like, "We're racing for pinks." He's like, "Pinks? Pink slips, moron! Ownership papers." It made me think of. So I was waiting for Cha-Cha to drop the flag,
I've never connected Grease to that, but that makes so much sense. That's
And there's
really
also the
funny.
pink ladies in Greece too. There's a lot of pink stuff going on in Greece.
There is. I never thought about it in the context of Fast and the Furious. That's a completely new thought. My brain's just running wild now.
Also reminds me, all right, I don't know if you were a fan of Smallville, but there was an underground street racing episode of Smallville once.
No, I don't know this.
Yeah, it was like season 3 when Clark.
Oh, I was probably still watching it. I think I tailed off at some point, but I think I saw it for a couple seasons, so I must have seen this, but I don't remember this. Please go on.
Well, I'm just saying the timing, because Smallville started 2000 or 2001, so by season 3, this movie had been out for a while. So I feel like they were definitely trying to kind of cash in on the Fast and the Furious, because they were already talking about sequels at that point, and a franchise with it. So yeah, they made a Fast and Furious episode of Smallville.
That's very kind of amazing.
Yeah, because we always talk about like what influences the franchise has on like other pop culture things, and that's one that like I totally never heard of.
It's 100% an influence, and it was so ham-fisted and didn't fit the characters that a really common trope on Smallville was one of the main characters falling under mind control, so they could act crazy and then forget later that Clark used his powers. That episode when they did the teaser with the car race, and then they revealed it was Clark's friend Pete doing the Fast and the Furious style racing, I'm like, oh, Pete's being mind controlled to race cars, because nothing about his character suggested he would have done that at any point. And then you find out, no, he's like an adrenaline junkie now, and he's really into this, when before, like, he wasn't even like brave enough or ballsy enough to get on the football team. He was he was kind of the class nerd, and then he's doing these Dominic maneuvers. But it's also funny because Smallville is in like farmland. That was their whole thing. So they're out racing on these little dirt roads, and I'm like, this is like corn husking, the Fast and the Farmers.
I love that. Because like what's interesting about like the first movie is trying to tap into something like an existing culture, right? Because it's based on the Racer X magazine article, and like these are things that like this is like a society and a culture in Southern California that they're like, hey, let's bring to the big screen. So then it's interesting to see that like this took a small thing, or maybe not a small thing, but like a thing that was not widely known, made it mainstream, and then we joke about like everything you watch now, they overtly reference the Fast and the Furious. To see it sort of like indirectly reference is like a different kind of wrinkle, where it's like, yeah, without this movie they're not doing that probably, because like they might know, but like people like the Smallville Nation or whatever doesn't care about cars, because like the Fast and Furious hadn't made it a national thing yet. So I think it's a very interesting kind of fanning out like the Pepe Sylvia of it all, like where the strings connect.
Yeah, that is really interesting.
Well, I'm probably not going to top that now, but also
no, I mean you got I'm sure you got gas in the tank, or whatever metaphor we want to use.
Well, speaking of gas in the tank, then I learned from this movie what a 10-second car was.
Yes.
I'm sure that's where most people learned it.
I think so.
And it becomes like a colloquialism then, again with the influence on like everything else, like you had kids that didn't have cars talking about quarter-mile times of cars, and you're like, what are you guys even talking
You're posers. About? Yeah, you're posers is what we would go to the lunch tables of people who saw the Fast and the Furious, and I remember one thing that talking about a lot was shifting, because driving stick is something that our generation didn't see our parents do as much. We're probably one of the first to say that, actually. When they talk about shifting and moving, and people, when they would try to sound smart about cars, they're like, oh, well, the only way to really get speed is with, manual gears. And then people be like, nah, man, you got to get the shifter kit, and then it'll go even faster. It's like, you drive a fucking Huffy bike to school. Come on.
Yep.
Jay, how old are your kids, Jay? Or I don't know if you have more than one kid or not, but how old are your kids?
One kid, and he's 7.
Has he shown any interest? Because I think he's too young. Like, he's not of the age where like driving is a thing. But has he shown any interest in cars? Because I feel like cars, like it means even. It reminds me, because like you thinking about us not seeing our parents drive stick or manual. Like it's even weirder that like he could just grow up and be like, oh no, I just never need to own a car. I can just Uber anywhere or whatever, right? Like, has he shown any interest in cars or not really?
He has had an extreme interest in cars since he was at least 2 years old. Since he could talk for as long as I could remember, he could walk through a parking lot, point to the grill of most cars, and identify the make.
Oh wow!
Okay, so he was in it. Was this an influence thing, or just his own fascination?
I really am not an influence in that. I may have said like this kind of car is this and this kind of car is that, but he's the one that really picked it up. He still talks about cars. We were driving home from karate class today. I drive an Infiniti, and we passed by it was a red Corvette. And he sees it and he just yells, "It's a red Lamborghini!" And I'm like, close. I mean, it's a Corvette actually, son, but that's good. They're both, shiny red cars and they go fast. That's pretty close. He said, "Well, they're both better than yours."
And then you said, "No food for you, son."
He loves cars, and I think he would have answered that he's into the foreign imports because he loves looking up Lamborghinis on the iPad. He loves the Back to the Future car. We built that one together actually.
Nice.
Playmobil has a pretty good kit for him.
Nice.
And not
That's
too
awesome.
expensive, and it lights up and all that. So yeah, he's very much into cars. I was never that into cars, honestly. I guess I like him as much as the next guy. But one thing about at the Race Wars, when Jesse, I liked Jesse too. I kind of felt like I might have been the Jesse of the movie if I had been in the movie. Jesse wagered his father's Volkswagen Jetta, and my first car, period, that I got when I was 16 was a Volkswagen Passat.
Oh, nice.
I kept wondering, he had tried to soup up this Jetta about the same time that I had my Passat. And I'm like, man, could I have really souped up my car to go into the race wars? And then when I saw how it went for Jesse, it didn't go so well. So I didn't know if that was like a smack against Volkswagen, because it's really like one of the times in the movie, you can correct me on this, but they really seem to mention the brand and the make. And then they have it lose. And it's driven by like the worst driver or whatever.
That's interesting. I wonder
Is it
what
a crack against Volkswagen or Germans? Or,
I don't know.
What? I don't know either.
Yeah, they don't reference a lot of cars besides the Jetta. I think they say Supra once or twice.
No, but like even that, because like
Right.
I am not a car guy by any stretch of the imagination, Jay, and we'll play a game a little bit later that you'll see exactly how little I know about cars. But I don't think I think that's a very astute point, because like I don't know that we've ever, because they don't reference anything. So I'm like, I don't know if it's like, because I don't know if it's the Eclipse or the Supra, or like I know the American Muscle stuff because like that's easier, but like I never really.
And there's less of it, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's interesting, and I don't know why. I don't know why that is.
Because like they never say what car Letty has or what like Dom's RX-7. Like they never mention Dom's Mazda, right?
Yeah,
like,
not by name. It was basically like if you're a wrestling fan, the Volkswagen Jetta was treated like the Brooklyn Brawler of the race wars. And it got beat in the first. It was the jobber. It got beat so easily. I don't know what's a more modern reference, a modern day jobber. Dolph Ziggler, I guess. I don't know. Revealing the true identity to Mia was cool, and Dominic kind of being revealed in identity. Getting this identity revealed in the final heist. I guess that's about it. Those were kind of my big moments. Other than the motorbikes, I already mentioned that though. The motorbike scene. Poor Jesse gets killed, and come on, dude. Is a Volkswagen Jetta really worth dying for, Jesse?
No.
And if to add insult to injury, not only do they murder the driver of the Volkswagen Jetta, they hit it while they're at it.
Yeah.
What did the Volkswagen do to you? Show us on the doll where the Volkswagen Jetta hurt you.
Yeah, I was thinking about that today, that like Johnny Tran beats Jesse in the race, and then again in life. It just does feel like he's punching down, because like, you know, it's a message to Dom and the family, but it's just like, come on, guy, like
Pick on somebody your own size or something, right? Like yes, he's trying to get at Dom, but like taking it out on like the weakest guy, like come on, man.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, then the movie having just the fact that the movie has a post-credit scene, you know, before that was so ubiquitous, and just like we did it before it was cool. I wonder how many people even missed it the first time around.
Like it's the one that I'm like, okay, because we have the Fast and Furious 6 one that like reveals the Han whatever, and there's other things that are like, and then Hobbs and Shaw is like 4 or 5 whatever, but it's like this is the one I have to like think about, like, wait, is there? And it's like, well, why? Like it doesn't need to be there. It's just like, hey, Dom got away, right? So I don't know, but it's definitely interesting that it was ahead of the curve there to really kind of no great shakes, kind of.
Those are my thoughts on the first film. Take them or leave them.
I like it. So
like it.
Here's a question for you as a writer and a comic book guy and just a storyteller and such. It's a very simple movie, I think, overall, especially compared to where we get now, where they're saving the world every movie at least once. You know, we've said a lot that it's essentially a kind of a reboot or remake of Point Break. You know, like the Keanu Swayze interaction relationship is Dom and Brian here. But in terms of the story structure and the narrative, do you think it works as a movie? Do you think it's too complicated? Is there stuff that could be done better, just like narratively, and the story they're telling of this undercover cop going in and, you know, kind of falling in love with the sister, kind of falling in love with the brother? Like, how do you think it works storytelling wise and the story they're trying to tell here?
I think where this movie works that the franchise loses later, you said it, it's more believable. It's more of an everyman approachable type story. It's kind of back to what I said. It's the same pattern that the Die Hard movies have fallen into.
Yeah.
That same slippery slope where John McClane goes from being, you know, a cop with some skills who gets in over his head to action hero jumping over helicopters and shit. Whatever it is they're doing in the Fast and the Furious now. You could tell me that the Fast and the Furious was going to have a crossover with Transformers now, and I would believe that. 100%. And it wouldn't be that bad, actually. Yeah, for this film, what it really does well, it doesn't have to be any crazy narrative. I think it works. I think it tells a coherent story with a beginning, a middle, and end. You know the characters' motivations. You know what they want. You could maybe say it's predictable and unsurprising, but I think it tells the story that it's set out to do, and, it does it well. How many other movies kick off a franchise like this?
Yeah, no, and I think that's a good point. Like, actually, there's 2 points to that. I think because this movie is so successful both financially and narratively, I think they're able to have kind of the false starts, like 2 was kind of a false start, and Tokyo Drift is to a certain extent kind of a false start as well, and they finally reboot in 4. But I think there's something to the idea and the world that they built, and, going back to your series Bible thing, like, there's something here that is of interest and is compelling and is told and done well enough here that they're like, hey, we'll give this another shot. And then, I don't think they realized it was going to become like a $1 billion a movie franchise before long, but like that's where we are.
That's where we are.
I'm also wondering if there are franchises, because I feel like sort of the nature of franchise, and we compare this a lot to like the MCU and stuff, and just, I'm watching TV, I have the TV on right now, the Yankee game on, and like nobody came on that Bob Odenkirk movie, and I'm thinking about John Wick, and like John Wick is maybe the best example of it, but like as franchises go on, part of the nature of them is they all have to get bigger and crazier and more over the top, and like, are there any franchises that don't do that stay relatively grounded throughout? And I'm sort of coming up empty.
Not really. Not ones
right?
not ones that go beyond 3 movies. Another good example would maybe the X-Men.
Yeah.
The X-Men stays at a fairly level, it's a different genre altogether. But you take the first X-Men movie and then you compare it to, say, like Apocalypse, and it's gone off the rails if you compare the 2. I don't even think of the last X-Men movie. That doesn't count, in my opinion.
If you're like, hey, we're going to tell 9 grounded stories in a row, people be like, I don't want that. Like, I want insanity, right? So, I don't know.
You would have to really plan them all ahead. We know that wasn't the case with the Fast and the Furious. It was kind of like, okay, let's make a film. Oh, well, that worked out okay. Let's make another one. Oh, well, okay. And so on and so forth.
Actually, you know what, Joe? Maybe the right answer to this is Lone Wolf and Cub. Like, it gets a little crazier, but they're kind of I mean, again, that's pulling from a
No,
source
you're
material.
right.
It's pulling from a manga, but like 4 is not wildly that much crazier than the first one.
I was thinking along the same lines, and I think that book adaptations is a good place to compare, because I was thinking like, because we're doing Twilight Forever with Brian, I was thinking like Twilight kind of stays at like the same wackiness level. Like it starts at like a wacky point.
Yeah, and I also think like to sort of to Jay's point, I think that's a good example. But like I think when you have the source material all laid out, like if you know where the story
Yes.
begins and
Yes.
ends,
Yes.
you're able to keep it consistent. But if it's like, okay, like what's the next movie going to be? Like, how are we going to save the world this time? It's like, well, I don't know.
Gotta get crazier for sure.
Yeah. Jay, is there stuff about this that you don't like? Is this, like, I mean, is it just that 5 is bigger and more fun and ballsier and better action, stuff like that? Or like, what could this movie have done better to rank it higher in your list?
Probably so. I don't like to be negative because I think there's enough negativity in the world
I
right
agree
now.
fully.
So just my constructive criticism is some of the talking and exposition gets a little dry and feels a little long. And I'm just speaking, that's just a general note. I mean, we could go scene by scene and maybe I could say when. I think that it could do with more action, less talk. And a rule that we have in comics, the cardinal, you could say the number one rule in comics is show, don't tell. And there's a little too much telling for a movie about, an illegal heist car, underground racing type movie. You could say maybe they overcorrected as it went later, but with this film, I would have maybe tightened up some of the edits a bit. Kind of say, we get it. We get that the character is this way. You don't need to keep driving in Brian O'Connor's desperation and shoestring budget and how he's really got to solve the case and you've got 36 hours and we get it. You don't have to keep telling us that, but you can do things to show us. I guess that would be the main thing. What about you guys?
I like that. That makes a lot of sense. There is parts of this, you're right, for a movie about modifying cars, racing cars. There's a lot of monologues and stuff, and we get that throughout the franchise. I don't know if I've come around and think that maybe it's not as bad because like it breaks up how high they get later and just actioniness, right? Like it kind of gives you like a breather for a second. In the first one, yeah, I think you could tighten it up a little bit.
One thing that we've said on here before that I still think is true every time we go through these, like watching these movies over and over again, we still really like all of them, but to a certain extent, like I don't know how many times you can see an action sequence and get something new from it, but like when there's a conversation, when there's a bit of dialogue, when there's like whatever going on like that, arguably, objectively, whatever probably shouldn't be in an action movie or could be done better. Like I'm more into that when we're watching this as like ongoing narrative. Our brains are broken, they're definitely broken, and we're watching this the wrong way, but I think I don't mind it, even though I agree with you. I think that they could probably show more than tell and tighten things up and actually do more stuff as opposed to just talk about the stuff. But like weirdly, I'm just like, yeah, like let's find out like what's going on here. Let's just talk
see
about
their
it.
facial expressions and reactions and like how the other characters are playing off the dialogue. Yeah. Yep. It helps us.
But also I know that we're like very weird about this, and we're not like we're not watching these
We're not
movies
the
the way that they're
normal
meant to be
audience.
watched or
I
whatever.
agree. Yeah.
There you go.
Joe, do you have any other thoughts about this? Anything you noticed this time around?
No, man, we've watched through this so many times. The Grease thing is interesting. I need to watch through and think about Grease next time I'm watching this.
Well, Grease is the word.
I was just trying to figure out like where the fuck Jakob is and like how that's all I could think about when I knew we were gonna watch this movie. That's why like I wanted to talk about that in these movies, because like now that we know that he has another brother that is presumably younger, like where the fuck is this kid at that we just don't have any mention of him, and how can they fix that? It's gonna be interesting to see in 9.
For sure. JD, any other notes, any other thoughts, or do you want to play a couple games?
Let's play some games.
All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to play the Too Fast, Too Forever character quiz. These are 7 questions, 6 answers per question. Again, no wrong answers. And we're going to find out which of these 25 characters we have picked out. Joe and I have done all this math, this crazy like point allotting system. We're going to find out which Fast and Furious character you are. So again, no wrong answers. Going to read you a question, tell me how the answer strikes you, and we'll go with that. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Question number 1, how fast are you? NASCAR, roller coaster, Lamborghini Murcielago, Toyota Prius, Vespa, or Razor scooter?
Toyota Prius.
All right. Okay. Question number 2, you know it's coming. How furious are you? The Hulk, Kylo Ren, Christian Bale in that one movie said that one time, Mel Gibson, Charlie Brown, or Jack McBrayer?
Probably Charlie Brown.
Through 2 questions, we have a new character. It's a possible.
Ooh.
I don't want to jinx it, but
Don't
just
jinx it,
I was surprised to see this person's face. Question number 3, Jay. We're having a barbecue. How are you helping? Are you manning the grill? Are you saying grace? Are you kicking back with a beer? Are you babysitting? Are you being the entertainment, or are you sneaking a snack?
I'll be the entertainment.
Question number 4, you've got time to kill. What are you doing? Are you grabbing a bite, working on your car, hanging with friends, drinking a beer, working out, or working on your computer?
I definitely would be on the computer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Describe your wedding. I'm never getting married. It's just me and my partner. It's us and our families. It's a backyard country affair. Everyone I know is there. I don't remember.
It was just me and my partner.
Jay, congratulations. You just won the lottery. What are you buying? Your own garage, a private plane, you're gambling it all away, a child at home, a fleet of cars, or a new life?
A new life.
And the final questions could decide it all. What is your drink of choice? Keeping in mind what we learned earlier. Belgian ale, Corona, something fruity, water, whatever's cheapest, or just whatever you're having. Get me one of those.
I'll say water from those.
Okay. Jay, you are not a character from this movie. You're a character we've had before in this quiz. I think Heather Antos, our past guest, our last guest, just got this. You are Ramsey. You are Natalie Emanuel.
Ooh, hacker.
So let's see if this, we have a description here as written by Wes Hampton, one of our listeners. Let's see if this sounds like who you are. You aren't what you seem like at first glance, and you often take people by surprise. Material things don't mean all that much to you because you live the best parts of your life in your own mind. Solving problems, learning new skills, inventing things, there's nothing you can't do if you set your mind to it. That can also distract you sometimes from the world around you. Luckily, your analytical mind also allows you to quickly and accurately size up people, letting you know who to avoid and who's worthy of sticking your neck out for. Family helps keep you safe, so you help keep your family safe. And you drive or hack like the wind blows.
Wonderful. And yeah, that's actually very true about the part with personal possessions. I like to have my stuff that I need, and there may be a thing or two here that I want. But generally speaking, I'm at home and happy in my own mind. So I think that was the right choice.
Cool.
Good.
Very cool. Good. I'm glad that our success rate on this is pretty high. I mean, they're all kind of astrological,
Not
it
bad.
could kind of apply to everybody.
Not
But
bad.
so the next game we're going to play is called This Ain't No 10-Second Race, a.k.a. Boy, Do We Have a Podcast for You.
Boy, do we have a podcast for you. Come and check out our show. Yeah, yeah.
So this is where we go on twitter.com, aka the Bird app, and we find any tweet from anyone who might like this show. So Jay, I don't know if you have a tweet that you found already. If you want to go on twitter.com and find one now. We reviewed last time we played on the Relap Recap, so there's nothing to review today. So just find a tweet and we'll read it on air.
Yeah, what's a good search?
Anything you like, the Fast and the Furious or F9 or Brian O'Connor, whatever you want to search. Just somebody you don't know theoretically. I'm trying to dodge spoilers or what could be spoilers or whatever, right? So please read who it's from and then what the tweet is.
I've sent them all to you now.
Oh, actually, the third person is going to be on this show later this lap.
Well, she had said I was going to channel my incandescent rage into a healthy art form, live tweeting my first viewing of 2009's Fast and Furious. This is Sarah Benicasa, who mentions, I just liked it for the incandescent rage about it. So shout out to her for that.
Perfect.
And that she's going on a road trip soon and wants to listen to all the soundtracks, which I thought was a good idea. Too.
That's a really good idea, yeah.
Let's go with let's respond to the first person. I think this could be kind of cool. If you want to read from the one from Eric Davis.
Eric Davis said, I watched F9 today, and it's exactly what you will hope it will be. The perfect summer blockbuster. Massive, memorable action sequences with lots of humor, heart, family drama, super magnets, and, all caps, they finally go to space. Longtime Fast fans will adore all the nods to previous films.
That's a good non-spoiler, but like a little tidbit.
Yeah, because we knew about the magnets, we knew about space already. I wish I didn't, but we did.
I'm curious about the space. I don't know much about it. I've kept myself pretty spoiler-free, so I don't know. But that's Eric Davis, who's the managing editor of Fandango.
I'm just saying
wow.
we can't wait. Boy, do we have a podcast for you. And then if you want to read the other one from somebody I've heard of before.
Yes, it is. Drumroll, please. It's just a blank picture for their icon. It's just like a blank picture.
Yep. Mm-hmm. There's no person in there. There's nothing you can see. Yeah.
You can't see him, but it's at John Cena, who says, "There are so many ways to describe this 1968 mid-engine Dodge Charger, so I had to make up my own. Can't wait to show everyone some of my favorite castmates." All caps, the cars, featured in hashtag F9. At The Fast Saga is back June 25th. And then he's got a video playing of a trailer. I like what he said about the stars being the cars.
Yeah, they might have a little bit of a pivot there, right? Because it is an interesting pitch just because we had gotten so much into like drifting away from car movies. So for him to be like trying to sell it like this, I'm curious about F9 even more.
Yeah. Those are great picks, though, Jay. I thank you. So we have a scoring system. If you get points, we'll tweet at you. We'll let you know. So, like, theoretically, if John Cena sees this tweet and retweets it, it'll get, like, hundreds, if not more. You know what I mean? Like,
instantly win, yeah.
So, like, you would just be so far ahead of all of us. Because, like, I will also say, this game is very difficult. For no reason.
Hard.
Very difficult.
So hard.
Fingers crossed.
All right, Joe, who do you got?
I got Natasha Alterici.
Yep.
At Alterici. Just based on something we were talking about today, she says, okay, now we're watching Fast and Furious, which I think is a natural follow-up to Grease. They're almost the same movie.
Natasha, we just came to the same realization.
Perfect.
Boy, do we have a podcast for you.
Yeah, Jay just opened my mind to it. And I can't believe that there's actually a lot of other people on Twitter that talk about how much Grease and Fast and the Furious are similar.
I'm not surprised because we're kind of dumb.
Yeah, we miss a lot of shit like this. Yeah. We definitely miss a lot of those connections, yeah.
I'm going with Blair Mitch, like Blair Witch, but Blair Mitch at Mitch Oliver 14. I was deciding between Citizen Kane or the Fast and Furious until I realized I don't deserve either of them for somehow landing on that debate in the first place.
He seems like our speed. I like that.
I'm going to say, you know where we fall.
Yeah, perfect.
Boy, do we have a podcast for you. I'm also, for the first time this lap, hashtagging it F9 and the road to F9.
Oh, good moves. I like that.
Get some more out there. Yeah. All right, Jay, we've got one more game to play, and this is a game called Dude, What's My Car?
Dude, what's my car? What's your car, dude?
The goal behind this, as I mentioned earlier, is I don't know anything about cars. This game is me trying to describe cars that our listeners send in to Joe. Based on my limited knowledge, he tries to guess them. Yep. So the question for you, would you like to help Joe guess what the car is, or do you want to help me give clues on what the car is?
I will give clues.
All right, so I'm going to forward you an email. So this is a car picture from Jerry Robinson. This is sent back in January. We're still catching up on this backlog of this. And the subject line is car pick number 3.
Okay.
While Jay waits, I will tell you that it is black. The car is black.
Always helpful. Thank you.
And it's from 1996.
Okay.
And it is British as well.
Ooh.
Not as well, but also, like, that's another fact about it.
Yeah.
We're just trying to get him to guess it based on good or bad clues. Like, the idea is to get him to guess it, but also it's funny just to, lead him on roundabout whatever. The grill has a number 7. And the license plate actually, the 7 is a clue.
The 7 is a clue.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
If you're trying to choose between feline or swine.
This kind of looks like a Batmobile you would find in, like, the Adam West Batman. Okay. I don't know if that's true or not, but it's got a very, very long front grille, and I got Batmobiles on the brain.
If Booster Gold tried to put his logo on the Batmobile.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Or maybe even Robin. Trying to think of another superhero with a yellow stripe. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Well, you could say yellow stripe. I mean, the yellow stripe does not help, but there's a yellow stripe down the middle.
Okay. Nice.
It's a convertible, kind of, or like at least you can take the roof off. The roof looks like it's like leather.
Soft
Just kind of like a
top.
flap.
Soft top.
Soft top. Yeah.
Okay.
Did you watch The Boys?
No, I don't know what that is.
It's a superhero show on Amazon.
Oh yeah, everybody was talking about this. That's right. Yeah.
Jay, did you watch Invincible?
Yeah, I've read all 150 issues of Invincible, and then I loved the show too.
I haven't read the comic yet. I've read every Walking Dead, but Kirkman, the show is great.
Somebody else was just telling me about that this week too, saying it
I'm
was.
very excited. I got it renewed for seasons 2 and 3. There is an exhaust on the side of this car under the driver's door. Unless I guess it's probably the passenger door because this is a British car.
Okay. Is it a Jaguar?
No, it is a brand I've never heard of before. Have you heard of this brand before, Jay?
No.
Feline and swine. So cats and pigs. What are cats and pigs got to do with it?
Jay's clue was wildly helpful.
Really?
Like incredibly so.
I said cat or swine. Mm-hmm. Or feline or swine. Yeah.
Feline or swine, yeah. It's based on a lotus, I will tell you that.
It's based. Okay, that's weird because lotuses are based on other things.
Yeah, so the Lotus was sold from like 57 to 72, and this car, came out in the 90s, but it's
Is it a
based
lease?
on...
A Lotus Elise? It's based on an Elise.
No, it's not a Lotus, though.
Okay.
After Lotus ended production of this car, this company has something to do with feline or swine, bought the rights to the design. Today make both kits and fully assembled cars.
Was the Lotus, was it like an exige or something?
Nope.
I don't know. What is it?
Feline or swine, power adjective, number.
The cat.
Mm-hmm.
The cat.
Feline or swine. Like, I can't understate enough how helpful Jay's clue was.
Cat or pig?
And
Cat
pig,
or
what do pigs give us?
cat or hog? Bacon, cat or bacon?
That's it. Well, yeah, you're close.
The cat or bacon.
The cat or bacon. Close.
Cat or
You're so close.
You make it with a cheese sandwich.
Caterham?
Yeah.
Okay.
Power adjective.
Speed. Caterham speed 7.
You got the first and the
I
last
think
right.
we should give it to him. I think
You're
he's
so
got it.
close.
I
The
think
middle
he's got it.
word. The middle word is also 5 letters and starts with S, but it's a power adjective.
Batman v
Speed.
blank.
Speed.
Nope. I already said speed is wrong.
What?
Batman v
Superman? Super?
Yeah.
Oh, Super 7.
Yeah.
Okay, Caterham Super 7. Can I see this thing?
You sure can. Let me download this and send this to you.
You guys did good. Those were good clues. That was really hard, but yes.
When he said feline or swine, I saw the ham and I was like, okay, cool. And I'm like, wait a minute, that's the whole thing. Like it was,
It's so good. Okay, good.
it was such a good clue that I was caught off guard by it.
I never
Nice.
would have guessed that in a million years. So I'm glad I'm giving clues instead.
Oh, this thing is really cool. So they build them on top of lotuses.
Yeah, so like it's from the
I see the
90s, but
Batmobile.
it
Yeah.
looks like an old ass Batmobile kind of,
It
right?
does. It definitely does, yeah.
Thank you, Jerry, for sending that in. That was
That's
a
really
cool car.
Yeah, I've never
Car
heard of
pick
this
number
before.
3. Well, Jay, thank you so much for joining us on this podcast. We are glad to have kicked off the road to F9 with you because this is a very exciting time for Fast and Furious fans. So thank you so much for joining us.
I wish we could all go see the movie together in a theater, but you know what? Maybe we'll meet up at a Comic Con one day and hang out and have any beer we want as long as it's a Corona.
You know it. So,
Amen.
Jay, you already mentioned at the top of the show, jaysandlin.com. What else would you like to plug? Where can our listeners find more about you? Where do you want them to follow you? What do you want to sell to them? Anything you want to plug, please go ahead.
Find all my stuff at jaysandlin.com. Follow me on social media at jaysandlin_, Twitter and Instagram. And get ready for June the 9th, my next comic graphic novel with Zenescope will be Neverland Annual Dark Alliance.
Ooh.
Not many cars in Neverland, I'm afraid. But they do ride around on giant crocodiles. So
Oh.
I've always said that crocodiles are the car of the swamp.
So it's gonna be Nathan Cross is going. Our Zenescope's Hook is going back to Neverland to try to find a miracle cure for his mentor Doc. It's been 10 years now that Zenescopes had their Neverland universe as part of their shared universe. If you're not as familiar with Zenescope yet, Zenescope is actually the largest female-driven shared universe in comics. Neverland is one of their few titles with a male protagonist, with Nathan Cross, who is their Hook. They've kind of got it like it's a mirror universe. Hook is the good guy, and Pan is the evil bastard. Ooh. Check it out on June 9th, Neverland Dark Alliance. It is 64 pages of comics from 3 artists for only $8.99. Ask your local comic shop. Then the month after that, I've got in July, Gen Hunter, which is my first series to write with Black Box Comics. Anime-inspired high fantasy featuring Zara, the Gen Hunter, and her quest to restore the realms with her Phoenix partner Bennu, maybe trying to reconcile with her girlfriend Samira the Sorceress. We'll see how that goes. Things are gonna heat up with Gen Hunter in July.
Very, very cool. That's As the weather gets hotter, so does Gen Hunter.
Ooh, I
hope so. Let's hope so, yeah.
Well, very, very cool. Thank you so much once again for joining us. Joe, next week, we're doing a pit stop. We are kicking off the Modern Car Movies lap with patron Nick Burris's pick. We are doing 2014's Need for Speed with Aaron Paul.
And I was looking at
Yeah. I was looking at the cast last night, and this cast is stacked. I don't remember them because I've only seen this movie once and saw that in theaters when it came out, so 7 years ago, whatever. But there are a lot of people in this movie. I'm like, oh, I really like them, and not everybody I knew back then. So it's going to be interesting to revisit this next week. Need for Speed. I don't think it's streaming for free anywhere. Oh, wait. If you have a TNT or TBS login, you can watch it on those apps, I believe.
Interesting. Very strange. Okay.
But it's not like on Netflix or Amazon or anywhere. But if you pay for cable, you can watch this for free, I think, without ads online. So
thank you, parents.
Need for Speed coming out next week. Any other final thoughts, or are we good to wrap it up?
That was awesome. Thanks for joining, Jay.
Happy to be here.
For all things Too Fast, Too Forever, you go to cageclub.me, facebook.com/TooFastTooForever, or at TooFastTooForever on Twitter and Instagram. Email us, family@cageclub.me. Check out our Patreon page at TooFastTooForever.com and our store at TooFastTooForever.shop. Come back next week for Nick Burris's pick of Need for Speed. I'm Joey Lewandowski.
I'm Joe, too.
And that was Jay Sandlin, and we'll tell you all about it
when we see you